In tonight's On Assignment, Our Community, lung cancer kills more people than any other cancer, yet it's the one that receives the least amount of funding for research. November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, and while most people think it's just a smoker's disease, the truth is it can affect just about anyone. No one knows that better than the La Crosse woman you're about to meet. 25-year-old Elizabeth Melde and her husband Matt are newlyweds.
I take you, Elizabeth, to be my wife.
When they tied the knot in August of last year, they had high hopes for the beginning of the rest of their lives together.
Yeah, we were going to take a few years and just travel and then start a family. It's kind of what we wanted to do.
Elizabeth was working as a certified nursing assistant and going to school to become an RN. This summer, she came down with what she thought was a really bad cold.
It wouldn't go away, and it was probably like a week and a half, and then the cough kept going, and the cough started getting a little bit worse.
It was eventually diagnosed as bronchitis and then pneumonia, and a biopsy was done. The results came back about 5 days earlier than expected. It was the start of Oktoberfest weekend in La Crosse.
And I was like, oh, awesome. I get the results early, and we get to go Oktoberfesting. And
I thought it was a little weird that they called so early. I actually thought that was a good sign, because I thought if it was something bad, they'd want to double and triple check and, make sure before they told us.
The news was beyond what they could have ever imagined.
We got there, and it was just a bomb, just a big bomb drop.
Just started crying right away. I just shut down.
I was in shock. I just kept telling him, no, you're joking. Like, that's not true. I'm 25. No way.
But it was no joke. At the young age of 25, Elizabeth had lung cancer.
He was very upset, and I just sat there. I don't think I cried once until we left the hospital, just because I was like, this isn't right. This is like, wake me up. This isn't right.
It was very shocking.
Shocking is the word, because when she had told us that, we were like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
The typical thing you think about. You're not a smoker, you don't work in a smoking environment, you're so young, how can you have lung cancer?
The cancer was already stage 4. It had spread beyond the lungs and into the bones. Her case is so rare, even her doctors questioned the diagnosis at first.
I was surprised. Yeah, it definitely was surprising, especially given the fact that she really didn't have any risk factors for lung cancer.
What were supposed to be Elizabeth and Matt's first few years of wedded bliss suddenly came to a screeching halt.
Right now we're supposed to be like out doing stuff, out celebrating being newlyweds, out traveling, out, and now we have this to deal with.
But Elizabeth wasn't about to take on this fight sitting down.
It's not worth being sad all the time. It's just, I gotta live my life.
You could curl up in a ball and do nothing, or you could stand up and say, look, we're going to fight this thing and we're going to make this happen.
Elizabeth has already undergone 1 round of chemotherapy and 13 radiation treatments. She's also set to be part of a clinical trial at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester. Doctors are unsure of her exact prognosis because her case is so unusual.
One thing that works in Elizabeth's favor is that she is so young and otherwise healthy and doesn't have any other medical problems. So that's one thing that's going to allow us to treat her as aggressively as we possibly can.
And Elizabeth has a huge support network helping her in her fight. Her family and friends started a Facebook page called Team Elizabeth. Nearly 1,000 people are members. Many Elizabeth hasn't even met.
They're telling me, you are strong, I'm fighting for you, I'm praying for you. Like, just people are saying, you don't know me, but, and it's wonderful. It's amazing.
It's almost like she has a duty now. She's going to go to work and do everything she can.
Her attitude about all of this is highly contagious and very positive.
This is not the face of lung cancer, at least not the face we're used to seeing. And yet here Elizabeth is, at just 25 years old, facing the fight of her life.
Don't take anything for granted. another cliche, but the cliches become real. It's just tomorrow is another gift, and you gotta live your life.
And right now, Elizabeth and Matt say they're taking it one day at a time and doing everything they can to fight this.
She is so unlikely to have this disease. Right. And you know what? Unfortunately, lung cancer is one of those diseases that really isn't talked about that much.
It's not, and you know, it's got that stigma attached to it that it is just a smoker's disease.
Yeah.
And you know, some of the other cancers, breast cancer, for instance, or colon cancer, have the big PR machines behind them too, where they get it out in the public a lot more.
It's true. Also, you know, family and friends are holding a benefit for Elizabeth in the new year. It is set for Saturday, January 14th from 6 until midnight at Waterfront's Cargill Room, and there will be music from Studebaker 7, also a wine tasting and a silent auction.
In the meantime, a fund has been set up to help Elizabeth and Matt with their medical expenses. If you would like to help out, you can make a check payable to Matt Melde and send it to the Elizabeth Melde Benefit, care of Morrison and Associates at 330 6th Street South. That's La Crosse 54601.
And of course, we wish them all the best.
Absolutely.
Well,